So let's say you found the skeleton. How would you tell it's a dinosaur? You personally, how would you decide?
Well, interesting question. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on that.
All right, welcome to Eternal Sunshine of the Empty Mind, Kent with Bent number 27. Oh, and there's an early appearance of Godzilla.
I didn't even have to do it this time.
Which means it is time to quickly go over the drinking rules in case you, for some reason, want to play along, which, by the way, we do not encourage. We, in fact, discourage you from playing along because we also accept no liability.
I accept liability.
Yeah, so.
You want to play... You can always play the non-alcoholic version of the game that I play. Right now I have a kombucha. I know, it's shocking. Bent drinking kombucha.
I know.
Yes, I have vodka. I mean water.
All right, so, as all of you may or may not know, of course, I guess that's the only options, right? Anyway, as you may or may not know...
No.
Anyway, we have a drinking game that we play with Kent. When Kent gets something right on his own without it just being a quotation he's reading, we take a drink as a congratulations, Kent, because, I mean, normally he never gets anything right. So, there's that. Let's see, if it's something that's just so stupid that it is hurting my brain enough that I have to drink, take a drink. Also, as you've heard, if Godzilla comes in, we take a drink. Also, we take a drink for Mothra, or Mothra J Disco Super Chats, because, you know, Mothra J Disco. Let's see. Also, we take a drink if Kent Hovind tells a joke that just lands completely flat, which he hasn't been doing a lot in this seminar. I think this seminar is a bit less jokey, but that's okay. We are probably going to finish Seminar 7 Part 1 and go on to Seminar 7 Part 2 tonight. So,
how many parts are there?
3 to this seminar. Each are about 50 minutes long.
Okay. Cool.
Let's see. Other than that, I just want to give a quick thank you to Xanos Carthage, who got me some stuff from my wish list, some Chaos Space Marines, and a pot of paint. Also, to Legs, who is never here, ever, but is our friend, and who got me a book, actually a couple books. One was a book about science and its intersection with various religious ideas, and another book which was for the Army, which is the Chaos Space Marine Codex. So.
Oh, I can't hear anything.
Oh, you may have to drop out and come back in. Because I can't... Oh, are you
back?
I
hear now.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear now.
Your video froze. Alright, and last but not least, this is something I'm going to bring up a few times, but there's a poll up on Twitter for what I'm playing after this. It's going to be on my Top Hats Off channel. Vote on the poll. Come hang out afterwards. I'll already be drunk. Be pre-drunk for the gaming. So, yeah, if you want to see me game while smashed, that's the thing to do. Currently, Spaceships and Chill and XCOM 2 are tied with 26 votes. In third place is Space Hulk with 23.1% of the vote, and in fourth place is Robo Recall with 7.7. In case you don't know, Space Hulk is a first-person shooter where you're a space marine in Terminator armor going through a derelict conglomeration of spaceships infested with aliens. You gotta kill them. XCOM 2 is a tactical turn-based combat game. Robo Recall is a VR shooter with a comedic tone and a sort of early future sci-fi vibe, or near future sci-fi vibe. And Spaceships...
It's a lot of fun.
It is. It is. That's actually one of the most fun games I've played in VR. Which is surprising since it just came bundled with my touch controllers for the Rift. And Spaceships and Chill is basically where I pick one of my numerous spaceship-focused games, and I just have fun with it. So there you go. And without further ado, Bent, I think it's time to actually get into the meat of this.
Ooh.
Are you ready for this? All right, so we just
I'm not, but how could I be?
Well, yeah, we just heard Kent Hovind talk about the slowing down of the speed of light. So here we go.
light goes, pretty quick, 186,000 miles a second. They slowed it down. It was done at Harvard. It was done at Smithsonian. It was done at Cambridge University. A repeatable, demonstrable experiment. Now that is science. If you do an experiment, get a result, somebody else follows your data, does the same experiment, gets the same result, that's science. They slow.
You know what? That's true. I'm going to give Kent one. If you can get reproducible results, other people manage to actually reproduce, and you publish, that's science. Good job. Kent, you usually get what science is wrong, but this time, I'm with you.
Slowed light down. This article came out on Fox News Channel. They said, we've succeeded in holding a light pulse still. They brought the speed of light to 0, brought it to a dead stop.
Okay, do you notice his citation here?
Fox News Channel, Wednesday, December 10th, 2003.
How is anyone supposed to check on this? Is there a handy Fox News archive that I can just look it up in?
Which program was it on, Kent?
I know, you didn't even tell us. Was it the nightly news? Was it like, what is this, Fox News, like Hannity or something?
That's a commercial for a science fiction movie, Kent.
Right, there's that too. Like, it's from Mikhail D. Lukin, though. I guess we could call him up. My goodness. Even if we just ignore even if we ignore how crappy Fox News is as a source in general, it's like, that's not a proper source, even if it were a more trustworthy site. Oh, and Brian Stevens says, I asked Kent what is a p-value, and his response was, a what? Awesome. Exactly the same response that I got when I asked him what a dinosaur is. Oh man, it was Bill O'Reilly, according to Tim Gargak. Sorry, I'm not up with all the names here. But while you're looking that up, Bent, I'm gonna hit play again and get a little bit more.
Buy the article for $35.
Oh, the one where Dr. Lukin talks about it. Is it on?
There's some videos of him talking about it.
Are they on Fox?
On YouTube. No, ITAM Physics.
Oh, so we can't Okay, so we can get other videos that might say the same thing, but none of them are his actual citation. Okay, awesome.
Meanwhile, back in 2000 at Princeton University, they speeded light up to 300 times the speed of light. So when somebody says that star's 10 billion light years away...
No one sped up this... Oh, my goodness.
No.
Okay, that was stupid, so I'm going to drink for it. Okay, so light has a number of velocities associated with it, and I honestly don't remember all the names for it because I'm not a physics guy, right? My big focus is in paleontology, but it's not like I'm a complete moron when it comes to physics. Like, the other day I just, for some reason, decided to calculate how many joules of thermal energy I needed to remove from my iced tea that I had just brewed as boiling tea to make it iced tea.
Is that what that text was about?
Yes, yes, it was.
Yeah, I ignored that.
I noticed. I'm fine with that.
I was like, I got work to do. I can't.
So anyway, oh, why am I getting a phone call? Oh.
What are you, a phone call talker?
All right, here's what's gonna happen. Ready?
I'm ready.
Hey, you're live on air because I'm currently streaming. Do you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi!
Oh, I can't hear very well. Oh, there's Bent, but you can't really hear him very well. You want to say hi to everybody?
I suppose.
All right, well, say hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi.
Hi. That's my friend.
41 people listening to you.
That's my friend Brittany. Oh, and we're gonna drink for some Mothra, but. So if you wanna come on the call, we're watching Kent. You wanna come watch Kent Hovind with us?
Likely not.
All right, well then I'll talk to you later.
She says yes, but she pronounces it strangely.
Bye.
She said no.
And that's what you get for calling me after I told you I'm doing show prep.
Godzilla.
Twice. Anyway, so that was my friend.
Oh, there's a super chat.
Ooh, Vandelli 1998 for $1.99 US. That's a lot of numbers in a row, all of them which are either 1s or 9s, and there's that one little 8. Anyway, wouldn't slowing and speeding light up be big news? It is. So what happens is, like I was trying to say, there are a number of velocities that are associated with light. So if you have a light signal, there's its, I don't remember what it's called, but there's the velocity that the actual signal takes, which can vary based on the medium. But there's also the velocity of any individual photon that might be in there. And that number is always going to be the speed of light. Photons always travel from point A to point B at the speed of light. It's just that when they're in a particular medium, that path is usually not a very straight path. They often will interact with things and scatter off, and the net direction tends to be the same as you would expect. And that's how we get complicated things like refraction and caustic scattering and all this weird stuff that light does when it interacts with relatively clear medium. So you can force light through a medium at higher speed than it would normally go through if you use very high energy light and things like this. And that's what happened. They managed to get a light signal through a medium faster than they normally could, but it didn't exceed the actual speed of light in a vacuum, because it can't.
That's impossible.
Right, and it turns out that when you get anything to go faster than the local speed of light in that current medium, that's where you get the blue glow of Cherenkov radiation, which is why some nuclear reactors glow blue. Which I have not seen in person, because the only reactor I ever worked with didn't have like an open cooling tank that you could look into, even with a camera. There were there weren't cameras, there were viewing ports. They were all boring and yellow.
I spent as little time as possible in that room, in the reactor compartment.
Well, everyone did. But that doesn't mean I didn't spend any time there.
I went and hid instead of going in there sometimes.
All right, I didn't do that.
I don't really want to go in there. I went in once. It was cool the first time. After that, don't want to go back.
Oh, and we have $2 from Josiah Hansen, who says King Crocoduck has the best SP of it, or explanation, of it versus Hovind video. Yeah. If you want to hear a much better explanation than I can give, then my recommendation is check out King Crocoduck. Start with his King Crocoduck versus Kent Hovind debates. It's a 3-part debate. It's long. It's like 5.5 hours long, so strap in. But excellent. And then you can dive into some of the other stuff on his channel. I believe the Kent Hovind versus King Crocoduck debates can be found on the Steve McRae channel, because I believe those were a bit before Non Sequitur Show started doing their debate hosting. All right. So now that we have that straightened out, Kent.
Which I doubt they can measure. Therefore, that we can prove the universe is 10 billion years old, they got several problems in their logic right away that they probably don't see, which is why we do these seminars.
Stupid.
So
That's stupid.
Okay.
I said that they probably don't see. He's so stupid that he doesn't even realize it. And he just assumes that all these brilliant scientists are wrong.
Yeah, well, he's...
It's so...
he's on that leftward peak of the Dunning-Kruger graph.
Yeah, I mean, it's straight up Dunning-Kruger-Hovind graph.
Yeah, I mean, they might as well just call it the Hovind effect.
It's so bad.
we can help people understand. It's 300 times the speed of light. Astronomer Barry Setterfield, Australian government astronomer, said, during the last 300 years, 164 measurements of the speed of light have been published using 16 different measurement techniques. The speed of light has apparently decreased so rapidly, experimental error cannot explain it. This is a chart showing the decline in the speed of light from the published numbers in the last 150 years.
You know what I noticed about that? With very few exceptions, each subsequent value is actually more or less within the experimental error range of the other values. And when you actually ask, physicists about this, they say that, yeah, generally this is entirely consistent with, one, a few experimental errors, and two, just narrowing in on the actual value and having the actual value be a bit lower in the available experimental error range than it being higher from the initial measurements.
Experiments have become more accurate over time?
Yes, more accurate and more precise. Both things at the same time. Crazy, right?
Completely insane. And yeah. I'm going to assume that all the smart things you said must be wrong because I'm too stupid to understand them, and therefore Kent's right.
Oh, okay. Well, We can do that.
It's the only possible explanation.
He noticed a decline in the chart. The speed of light's getting slower until about 1960. For the last 40 years, anybody that's measured the speed of light gets the same number, 186,282.4, I think, miles per second. Who cares? Well,
so I'm going to take a quick drink. So what Kent just said was, just as soon as we were able to precisely and accurately measure the speed of light, suddenly it stopped changing. You don't say, Kent. Huh, I wonder why. Could it be that it was mysteriously faster in the past, even though we know it wasn't, because that would change all of the results of Maxwell's equations, and we would be able to see that in distant galaxies, but we don't. So I guess maybe Maxwell's equations were changing as the speed of light was changing to exactly give us... Math was changing, basically. And then it stopped...
Math was changing, the speed of light was changing, everything was changing.
And then it just kind of stopped the instant we could actually look at it. Just like the hyper-evolution off of the arc, right? The instant we actually get a really good chance to do things like observe mutation rates and speciation rates in the real world, suddenly they go back down to normal. Right just before that, they were explosively high, crazy fast evolution.
I mean, quantum mechanics does the same thing. Once you look at that particle, or that light, it turns into a particle instead of a wave.
Is that exactly the same thing?
I don't know. It's way too complicated. I can watch a double slit experiment video 30 times in a row, be like, I got it, I understand, and then say, explain it, Bent, and I'd be like, and I'd just fall over. It's confusing.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of that, though.
I say just go with the Copenhagen interpretation and just deal with it.
I say let's do the Hovind theory instead, where everything came from that one big comet somehow.
Do you think Hovind even knows what a theta wave is? I mean, he doesn't know what a p-value is, so I doubt it.
Probably thinks it's all tachyons. They're all going faster than the speed of light.
Oh.
They're made up. They're from Star Trek. They're probably not from Star Trek, but
they're sort of made up, but they're a hypothetical particle.
They're a hypothetical, but I don't think anyone actually thinks that they exist.
Yeah, they probably don't exist. But here we go.
Ready to be a scientist.
it could be that it leveled off in 1960 for two possible reasons. Three possible reasons. Our way of measuring is getting better. Instruments are getting better. We're smarter. You know, everybody in the past was dumb. We're smart. We got it right. Could be. That's what they'll tell you.
No, it's not that everyone in the past was dumb, Kent. It's that technology advances. Do you think... Look, I know that Kent Hovind doesn't think that technology hasn't advanced. It obviously has. He remarks about how much it has advanced since he got out of jail. Or prison, right?
Right.
So it's not that people in the past were dumb, it's that they did not have as finely tuned instruments as we have. People in the past were just people. But technology is better.
Other options or whatever, but it's all based on his false premise that the speed of light actually slowed down, which is absurd.
Yeah, because we can check, and it hasn't.
Because smarter people than me have checked and demonstrated that it hasn't.
Yeah. So, all right, well, here we go.
Second option, though, is we're at the tail end of a logarithmic curve, and you're much less likely to see any decline. As you get further out on the logarithmic curve, it pretty much levels out. But a third reason...
Yeah, but that's not consistent with your graph. Your graph showed what could be a curve of best fit until the 70s, like you said, at which point it just leveled off. There was an angle. There was a point where the first derivative of the change in the speed of light was undefined, Kent. That doesn't happen at the tail end of a logarithmic curve. And yeah, I know, I went into some pre-calc. Sorry. Yeah. But
Kent taught math in high school for 15 years.
An undefined derivative is what happens when the shape on your graph has an actual angle, right? It's not just a curve. There's a point where, you know, the curve becomes undefined because there is an angle. And if the curve is undefined, the slope of the curve is undefined, which means that you have a hole in your derivative. Any kind of logarithmic decay isn't going to leave a hole in your first, or well, in any of your derivatives. That's how derivatives work. I remembered things from pre-calculus. Hooray!
From
No.
pre-calculus.
Do you remember how to do a derivative?
No, I don't remember anything. I would memorize the formula, take the test, and then forget what I had memorized.
Fair enough. Okay.
That's how I got through pre-calculus. And I got an A. And if I had to take any of those tests again, like a month later, I would have failed probably all of them.
Fair enough. Magnus screwed up and made light faster. Yeah, but that's in the future there, TD Lane.
And I had to go to the tutor almost every day because that's always how my brain is with math. I can always get the A, but it just takes me extra tutor help
Fair enough.
to get it.
Okay. Here we go. A little bit more Kent.
Is 1956 is when they invented the atomic clock. And they started using that as their clock to measure the speed of light. Well, now, wait. The atomic clock is based on the wavelength of a cesium-133 atom. So the clock is based on the speed of light. Now, if you have a clock based on the speed of light and you're measuring the speed of light with it, if the speed of light changes, you're never going to catch it with that clock. It's like watching two twins grow next to each other. Well, neither one's growing. Well, duh. You got a rubber ruler problem here. Clear back in 87.
And we have a $4.99 super chat from Vandali1998 who says, technology advanced so much in 1998. I thought the 5GB hard drive on my PC was so impressive. Now a game is more than that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I have a, what is that, a 2TB SSD, and it's still at the point now where I'm like, if I want to install a new game, maybe I should take an old one off. And I have to make sure I clean up my old video files so that I don't overload it with video files from all my video production stuff. Yeah. So.
They said the speed of light was 10 billion times faster at time zero. There must have been a faster speed of light. There have been articles from the 80s, 90s, 2000s saying, look, this.
Yeah, from the 80s, 90s, maybe. But
No.
Oh, look at this. Electronics and Wireless World. Newsweek. You know what those both have in common?
They're not peer-reviewed
Yep.
articles.
Yep, those are invalid citations in a scientific discussion.
And no, everything Kent says, I have to say no, because no is the no.
Oh, take a drink then.
No.
Take a drink. Take a drink.
That's it. Take another drink. No, Uncle Kent. No.
I thought there was no relation.
No relation. I mean, if I'm related to a pineapple or whatever, I'm related to Uncle Kent.
That's
No
true.
relation.
That's true. So maybe we should drop the no relation part.
Well, Kent would say no relation.
Kent Hovind, distant relation. No, he wouldn't, because you remember, he thinks everyone came from Adam and Eve. So he's at the very least your distant cousin.
It's not helping my depression.
I'm sorry. Just take a
I
whole...
was a dinosaur.
All right, here we go.
Speed of light is not a constant. They said no physical law
No.
prevents anything from exceeding the speed of light. In 2 published experiments, the speed of light was apparently exceeded by as much as a
No,
factor
Kent.
of 100.
Right, yep.
The Big
wrong.
Bang Theory requires a much faster speed of light.
Nope.
Dr. Magluelcio, however you pronounce his name here, I got his book on the table.
Sunday Times.
He says a shocking possibility is the speed of light might change in time during the
Magluelcio.
life of the universe. Could it be the speed of light was
I don't even...
faster?
I'm hitting the wrong thing.
There's an article
I don't even know. Give me a second.
on the table. He says a shocking
Maguejo? What? Yeah.
I don't even know what he said. He put lots of extra letters in there.
Yeah, that's not an easy name. I don't know. I'm not even sure what language that's coming from.
It's from Londonese, I bet.
Well,
'Cause
okay.
Imperial College London.
Right, but it turns out that you don't have to be English by descent to teach at the Imperial College of London, and to then pen something in the Sunday Times with a phone number, so you can call up the Sunday Times in the UK to ask them about something some guy said sometime.
I think that's a date, not a phone number.
Oh, is it? Oh yeah, you're right. Never mind. I'm already drunk apparently, but still.
Call that number though. Everyone dial it. See
Actually,
what
I don't even know. I don't know. Is that enough numbers for a UK telephone number? It actually is for some of them.
I don't know.
If I remember correctly, the UK has mostly 7 number, but it still has a few 6 number phone numbers. The trick is though that most automatic dialing systems require 7 numbers, but if you have a 6 number phone number, the first digit can be anything. And there's very few of those left, but I remember correctly that's how that works. But then again, what do I know? I'm not a phone expert from the UK.
I don't even know this. Was he there? Was he at Imperial College London, 12/24/2000?
I don't know. Good question. Oh, has anyone located the alleged Creation Tech Journal June 2000 piece? Not that I'm aware of. Although, to be fair, is it 8 digits in the? I don't even know in the UK. Whatever. I can't do math.
You explain to this pre-calculus, but you can't count. First, you think it's a phone number, but it's a date.
Shut up.
And then you say only 6 digits, but there's 8.
I don't want to count.
Mayfair.
Yeah, Monk Mayfair did the counting. By the way, James, as far as I know, no one has. But also, I'll be honest. If you're gonna be so bad at citing a source as to make it largely impossible to find, I'm just going to assume that you basically didn't cite a source, and I'm probably not going to look for it and just say you couldn't even provide a source. And I know that you are the guy who hunts down all the sources, and I appreciate that because you do work that I am not willing to do. So I hope, yeah, and I know it's 8 digits. I realize that now that you pointed out, and I looked at it again, and I was like, oh yeah, 8. I don't freaking know.
Doesn't matter.
Whatever. 9 digits, 8 digits.
Or getting that wrong, or thinking that the speed of light is...
Oh, look, this is not the first time I've gotten arithmetic wrong on this show, right? If I do arithmetic on the show, there's a fair chance that I'm going to get it wrong. So, there you go. Mostly because alcohol and arithmetic don't mix, but also because, I don't know, I'm just dumb.
The possibility is the speed of light might change in time during the life of the universe. Could it be the speed of light was faster? Here's an article in the newspaper said, speed of light may have changed over history, study says. Winnipeg Free Press, nothing's...
Yes, because newspapers are always the best reporters of science news. Look, just talk to anyone who's involved, even peripherally, in any field of study and ask them what they think about newspaper reporting in their field. They're not going to give you a high opinion of the newspaper reporting in that field, because it's always crap. The most recent, egregious thing I remember in paleontology was that a bunch of news outlets had reported that someone had sequenced DNA from a human fossil from, something crazy, 300,000 years ago. Which, no, they didn't. They managed to get a protein sequence for a dental protein out of a tooth. That was it. And it was one of the oldest protein sequences ever acquired, which was impressive. But it wasn't a DNA sequence at all.
Yeah, but DNA comes from... proteins come from DNA.
That's true, and it does show you what a range of possible DNA sequences could be, but it doesn't actually help you resolve which one of those possible sequences it is. And all of these news outlets were like, oh, it's the oldest human DNA ever found. No, it wasn't. Nope, not what happened. So yeah, news reporting about science is just complete trash for the most part.
Oh yeah, it's awful.
Reliable, not even the speed of light. We have shown that a time-varying speed of light could provide a resolution to well-known cosmological puzzles. One of the mysteries of a decaying speed of light seems to be able to explain why opposite extremes of the cosmos that are too far apart to have been in contact with each other appear to obey the same rules of physics. And even about the...
Why is that a mystery? It's just the basic scientific assumption that, hey, we should just assume that the laws of physics are largely invariant given, differences in time and location. And we look out, nope, yep, they seem to be. An actual mystery might be why there is so much homogeneity in the cosmic microwave background radiation, which actually is a legitimate mystery, which is why we have ideas like, the relative slowdown in the expansion rate early on in the Big Bang, followed by the, inflationary model. where expansion rate increases exponentially for a bit afterwards.
Cosmic inflation.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are actual mysteries.
The same
It
temperature.
doesn't make any sense.
It would only be possible for light to cross from one side to the other if it traveled much faster than today, moments after the universe was created.
Or, like I said, there was a temporary slowdown in the expansion rate.
Is the speed of light really a constant? There are articles here in Reuters News Service, the speed of light may not be a constant. I have dozens of articles like this in the last 15 years, and this will be much more detail in our college class
It's speculation.
about the speed of light. So don't...
Yeah. Yeah, every once in a while, a news article says, oh, someone said maybe a thing, and then the entire scientific community is like, yeah, but that's inconsistent with our data, so no.
Let somebody tell you the speed of light is a constant. We don't know that. Big article came out in Discover magazine, says, was Einstein wrong about the speed of light back in 2000? They said, yeah, Einstein was wrong. The speed
Actually, I'll bet they said no, he wasn't.
speed of light is not a constant. There's the book by the Italian scientist, I'm assuming he's Italian, says, look, the speed of light is not a constant. And there have been many articles published about this.
You're assuming he's Italian, even though J isn't a letter for any native Italian words? It's a good assumption, Kent. I'll tell you what, let's find someone with, you know, that German double S that looks kind of like a B and a thorn in their name, and you'll probably just assume that they're, what, French? You know what, that's stupid enough. Kent doesn't even know enough Italian to recognize that it can't be an Italian name. You might as well have just said it was probably a Chinese name. My goodness.
You can read them for yourself. I'll flash through them quickly here and you can get the details.
He's from Portugal.
So the third thing to consider, the creation was finished when God made it.
See, that makes sense.
I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, but he's a guy from Portugal.
Yeah, because Portuguese has J. Whereas the only place that J occurs in Italian is in loanwords, where the original language spelled it with a J. In places where most languages use J, Italian uses I, just like Latin did. And yeah, Luca, oh, I know it's not Italian, believe me. But, buddy, believe me, I'm on board with that. It is so not an Italian name.
Not only can we not measure those distances, not only is the speed of light not necessarily a constant, the creation was done.
What does that
See,
mean?
Jesus made wine out of grapes that never existed. He missed all that time.
What?
Instead of going,
Look,
What did he say?
Jesus kept the party going at a wedding, therefore evolution is fake.
What? He just said Jesus made wine
Out of
from
grapes that never
that were
existed.
nothing.
That never existed. Yeah.
What is that even supposed to mean?
Well, when Jesus made wine at the wedding of Cana, which grapes did he make the wine out of? Is, I guess, what he's trying to go for.
Whichever grapes were near him?
Did he, though? That's another question. Were there grapes involved? I don't know.
Nothing made a vacuum in front of him, like a zero energy vacuum, and then made grapes from that,
Look,
and then turned that into wine?
I don't know.
Is that what Kent's saying right now?
Maybe. I don't know
Oh my
how.
God. I'm gonna...
I don't know how the miracle is supposed to have gone. Oh yeah, the evil
Not
Scotsman.
like that!
The evil Scotsman says
That's
that
not
there's a dino on your couch.
Ah! Oh, it's just you.
Yeah, that is the Dapper Dino fleece blanket, which you can find at the merch store. Link in the description. It's a bit on the pricey side though. You might want to start off with like a t-shirt, or just go straight for the fleece.
Just get all of the above.
Yeah, the t-shirts, the mugs, the fleece blankets, the tote bags.
Look, you can't take the money with you when you die. You may as well spend it on Dapper Dino merch.
Sure.
going from the water in the ground
That's what I
through the
did.
plant into the grape, squeeze it, make the wine, now drink it. No, Jesus turned the water straight to wine. What happened to all the intermediate steps?
Right there, bam, snap.
God can bypass all that. He doesn't need any of that. Okay. I asked people the question, how old was Adam on day 6? Anybody know? How old was Adam on day 6? 0. Did he look 0? No. He looked 52. 53 next month. But
So the whole problem with the
Was that a
Omphalos...
joke? Did you try to make a joke?
No, he's... Okay, fine. I'm good with that. So basically, this argument is called the Omphalos argument, and Omphalosum, or Omphalos, comes from the Latin word, or the Greek. think it's Greek. Yeah, it's Greek. Omphalos, which just means belly button, right? Because the question is, did Adam have a belly button? And the Omphalos argument says yes, because God made everything to look as if it had some kind of a previous history. So God made the universe looking old, and he made Adam looking like he had developed and been born normally. And he made, the trees have already established root systems, and there was already a geological history to the planet that didn't ever really happen, and was just poofed into existence as it is. The problem with that is that once you accept that that's an option as for your thinking, there's no way to distinguish this more traditional omphalism based on the Bible with what's called a last Thursdayism Omphalos position, which is to say that God poofed the entire universe into existence last Thursday, and all of your memories and any evidence that you find of it being otherwise is just something that God miracled into existence last Thursday. What conceivable observation could disconfirm this is one problem. And the other problem is, even if that's true, then for all practical purposes, the universe does have that history, and we should treat it as if it does. Because at that point, the young universe becomes indistinguishable from the older universe. So, why talk about it being young? So, yeah, that's the big problem with the Omphalism argument. Anything to add there, Bent?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, speculate with friends on whether or not you think Adam had a belly button, assuming he existed, I guess you could have fun with that. But for me, unless I'm doing that, which I tend not to do that since maybe I was 10 years old in Sunday school, it's like, who cares? Why does it matter? So what if he did? So what if he didn't? Who cares? Where am I going to go with that information if I had an answer?
You're going to go and find... You're going to be able to better paint...
neat! Let me go play Nintendo again, or whatever I did when I was 10.
Wait, you have a Nintendo?
When I was 10, I had a Nintendo.
You don't have one right now?
No.
All right, everyone, get a GoFundMe together to get Bent a Nintendo.
I prefer the Nintendo Entertainment System.
The original, way back Famicom style, huh?
Sure.
Okay.
Should I make a Amazon wish list that we could start?
I'm not going to stop you. Yeah, I'll put it in the description if you want.
I'll start
He
doing
looked
that.
perfect top, physical condition. God didn't make two babies and put them in the Garden of Eden and hand them a package of seeds and say, here, plant these quick. You're going to need supper. It has to be a full-grown man, full-grown woman, full-grown garden.
Full-grown
We got to have supper
stegosaurus.
like tonight, Better be something hanging on the tree ready to eat. Even if you plant a tree, you're going to take 4 or 5 years to get fruit off it. So the creation had to be mature. A fourth thing to consider about the speed of light question. A light year is a distance, it's not a time.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? A drink for Kent getting something right. A light year is a distance, not a time.
Good job, Ken.
Yep, you did it. Good job, I'm proud of you.
It's a distance. And since the speed of light is not proven to be consistent, why would star distance have anything to do with the age of the universe?
So, first I'm going to drink a little bit. So here's the thing, Kent. A star can be at a distance that does not give you the age of the universe, right? Because, for instance, the stars in the Andromeda galaxy are approaching the Milky Way galaxy. So if all we had that we could see, say we had less powerful telescopes than we do now, were the Milky Way galaxy, its satellite galaxies, and the Andromeda galaxy and its satellite galaxies, right? Well, because it's moving towards us, that would not actually give us any indication as to how old the universe is. But if you can see a galaxy... Oh, drink for Godzilla. If you can see a galaxy that's 14.8 billion light years away, that gives you a minimum age of the universe, because the light had to travel for 14.8 billion years, because it travels in a vacuum at the speed of light. And despite what Kent Hovind might think, we know with a pretty high degree of accuracy and confidence that, in fact, that is, it's actually constant. Or it's so close to constant as to not matter. Which means that, yes, if you see something that is 100, or say 100 million light years away, the universe has to at least be old enough to let that light get here. And since we can see things that are over 14 billion light years away, again. All right, so I have, by the way, been sent a Kent Hovind wish list. Now I'm gonna make sure that he has sufficiently anonymized it.
I don't know if I have or not.
Right, that's why I'm not putting it up yet. But once I'm sure that it's sufficiently anonymized, I am going to start including it on Kent with Bent videos. So
Yes!
there you go. Bent might have to remind me. So if
Adding
you're
to
feeling amazingly generous, which again, you don't have to feel amazingly generous towards either of us. Just like and share and watch. Like the video, that's an important one. But yeah, all right, here we go, more Kent.
Now, I am not saying, and have never said, all of the stars are inside of a 6,000-mile radius of the Earth. That is not what I say. I don't know any...
Does he mean 6,000 light year?
I don't know. Who knows what he thinks he means?
I hope that's what he means.
creationist who teaches that.
What's up?
Can you predict? Is that beyond the ability of science to predict what they think Kent means by what he says?
No, I don't think so.
So when they say that, they're setting up a straw man, you know, knocking it down. They're lying, basically.
Oh?
The stars probably are billions of light years away. They probably are. We just can't measure them, that's all.
Well, except that we can, because there's this little thing called a standard candle. Hooray! As I'm sure most of you know, because my audience is a bunch of smart guys, not a bunch of dumb guys.
And they watched the last episode.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess we don't really have to go too far into it, then, do we?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's up to you.
Whatever. They watched the last one.
I like this
We
article.
can. There are other ways besides parallax to measure it.
Yeah, basically, so we measure things that are close by with parallax, but we can get certain things that we know exactly how bright they are intrinsically, and then we can measure the brightness. There you go.
It said, how do scientists measure the age of stars? They said, well, we can find the absolute ages by comparing a star's color and brightness with those in stellar evolution models. What?
The Kent uncertainty principle.
We can tell how old it is by how old we think it is. That's exactly what they're saying right there. That's
No,
dumb,
Kent,
okay?
It's not.
No, it's not. So, the thing is that we have reliable and well-confirmed models for stellar evolution, and I know Kent loves to jump on that thing, but the fact is that in real science, in the real world, where people actually do scientific studies and advance the knowledge of the human race through science, stellar evolution refers to the life cycle of a star from a diffuse cloud of gas to a protostar to a star, and eventually down to a stellar remnant. So, because we have these models that have profound predictive ability in both things that we can see as events going on, as well as matching very well with actual observations of the chemical composition of stars, we are very well assured that we can do things like look at the chemical compositions of stars, which if you watched the last episode, you know we can figure out based on things like emission spectra. And since all of this coheres extremely well together, and has extremely high predictive power, we can then pretty confidently assign ages to various stars based on looking at their spectra. Now, much harder to assign ages to other objects, like a nebula or, say, a stellar remnant. So if we find a pulsar, which is a kind of neutron star, it's actually not even a kind of neutron star, it's just a neutron star that faces Earth in a particular way.
Right.
Any neutron star could be a pulsar if it faced it the right direction. So, but anyway, it's a much more difficult thing to measure how old a pulsar is, because it doesn't give away many obvious clues, and we don't have terribly good models as to how such objects should age. Same thing with a white dwarf, and it's even more extreme a problem with a black hole, because black holes essentially give off none of their own radiation. So all we can really measure about a black hole is its mass, and I believe if you were, it's possible that it could be measured what its spin and charge were, but it would be nearly impossible to do that from as far away as the nearest black hole is. So, there you go. And those are the only three physical properties of a black hole that exist beyond the event horizon, are mass, spin, and charge. There you go.
Now, I think everybody's asking the totally wrong question. Everybody's saying, how did the light get from the star to the Earth?
No one is asking that.
They're asking the wrong question.
No one is asking that. It propagated the way light always does. I mean, unless you're asking how does light get around, which I guess, yeah, that's an interesting question because it deals with weird interpretations of quantum physics. But light didn't get from the star to here in any special way. It just traveled the normal way. It didn't hop on a speed bus or something. There wasn't an airplane that took a packet of light from a star. That's stupid. I'm going to drink.
It traveled via the electromagnetic spectrum. Ever heard of it?
Yeah, the electromagnetic field, all that good stuff.
17 times in the Bible, it says God stretched out the heavens.
It's field.
Well, if he stretched out the heavens, you're asking the wrong question. It's not how did the light get from the star to here, but how did the star get from here to there? That's the question we need to be asking.
Okay, so this is where we get into things like redshift. So if an object moves away from you at faster than the speed of light, the redshift becomes infinite. The problem with that is an infinitely long wavelength means that the photon is never going to get to you. Another way you can think about this is that the space between you and the object that's moving away from you at a faster recessional velocity than the speed of light has to be expanding so fast that it's expanding faster than the speed of light, which is okay in general relativity because space-time not having any mass can essentially expand or contract at whatever speed it likes, including the speeds beyond the speed of light, at least at global levels. At local levels, there's some question there. Can space locally contract or expand that fast? Maybe. But anyway, so if God had stretched out the universe such that all of these objects in the course of 6,000 years got to be 14 billion light years away, they would be beyond what's called our cosmic horizon, which is the distance from which light can still reach us and therefore have any effect on us. It's basically the reach of causality in the universe. It's that far. So this would put all of these things beyond our cosmic horizon, and they could have no effect on Earth whatsoever. The only way that could change is if the expansion stopped, and then eventually the light managed to get to us because light, subsequent light was able to actually overcome the expansion because it slowed down so much. In which case, our cosmic horizon would actually expand significantly. That's not something for which there's currently a physical mechanism known, but I guess if you're going to allow miracles, it at least could happen. But yeah, if the universe were stretched out like that, we couldn't see these things anyway, because they would have had to recede faster than the speed of light, and we would not have had time for the new light from them to catch up to us.
Wouldn't all light be redshifted then?
Well, all light from anything far enough away already is. Basically, except for like the very few things that are approaching our galaxy, including the Andromeda Galaxy, all the light that we see from outside of our galaxy already is redshifted. But it's redshifted in ways that are consistent with the predictions of the Big Bang in terms of recessional velocities, and not with Kent Hovind's ridiculous hyperinflation for the past 6,000 years.
You're saying Kent Hovind's wrong again?
Yes, I am.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Bible says pretty clearly God made the earth first, and then he made the stars also. And suppose he made the earth, and then he stretched out the stars from here. Adam would see the stars on day 6.
But the thing is, it doesn't just say that he stretched out the stars. It says he stretched out the stars like a tent. What do you do in a tent? What's the tent stretched out like? It's stretched out around you, not away from you. You don't keep blowing up the tent to whatever ridiculously large size in a continual expansion. You stretch the canvas of the tent across some kind of framework. What this is actually talking about is God hanging the stars on the firmament in a dome around a flat Earth. There's a reason that I say, while I don't think the Bible's intention is to teach you about the shape of the Earth, it definitely assumes a flat Earth in many areas. This is one of them. I don't know if you've ever put up a tent, but it doesn't create an infinitely stretchy fabric of the universe that expands away from you, because it would be a pretty useless tent if it did that. The whole point is to provide a protective covering that's usually roughly dome-shaped, kind of like the ancient Hebrew conception of the sky.
Crazy.
I know. Yeah, it's true that the flat earthers have a point when they say that the Bible talks about a flat earth. It does. It just does.
And day 7, and day 8. As the star is being stretched out into place, it's going to leave behind a trail of light.
Yeah, red
So the
shifted
stars
to
could be
oblivion
billions of
light.
light years away today and still have been created in the 6 days, 6,000 years ago. Russell Humphreys has a book, which I read, and I just have to say, I didn't understand it, all of it. He's really, really smart, but it's a good one on starlight and time if you want to get more on that. I don't know that I agree with his premise. I think he
No, nothing that Russell Humphreys wrote has really good and informative. Just no.
starts with the assumption the speed of light is a constant. Now, how do we explain that? And they get into this warped space and bent space stuff. I think it's much simpler. The speed of light's not a constant, and God made things and stretched them out into place.
Except it is. At least when Humphreys goes in on the warped space and stretched space, he's trying to desperately work within the framework of actual well-established science. I'll give him that. Humphreys is one of these guys who... Okay, I'm going to have to take a drink before I explain this, because it's crazy. By the way, if you want to look at my 1,000 subscriber special... Oh, drink from Mothra. We looked into a video that was based on this Humphreys idea, right? At least I believe that what I'm describing is Humphreys' idea. This is sort of coming off of the top of my head. So I'm sure RJ will be able to fix me if I get it badly wrong. Because RJ's in the chat, and RJ always knows what's up. So the idea was supposed to be that the Earth, as well as significant portions of the universe, were deep within some kind of black hole that for some reason didn't utterly annihilate all of them. And then in concentric rings, there was an expansion event. And so in those outer rings, because of time dilation, significant amounts of time passed, allowing things like light to get closer to the center of the singularity and whatnot. Then the next ring would expand away. And there's been some kind of change as to whether these rings are actual discrete rings or whether it's just a continual expansion closer and closer to Earth. And then eventually Earth emerged from this gravitational singularity and clocks started ticking on Earth. And so it really is a young Earth idea, because Earth is the only young part of the universe and everything else is exactly as old as it looks according to astronomy. So at least it has that advantage that God isn't just lying about the starlight, but it has other problems in terms of like the field equations not really being able to support this kind of a thing. So yeah, also it lacking significant amounts of falsifiability outside of that problem. So yeah, that's the Humphreys idea as I remember it, and it is stupid. And by the way, I want to point out as I link the poll, currently there is a tie in the poll.
Whoa.
So any of you could go and help decide what I end up actually streaming after this. So currently we have Spaceships and Chill, Robo Recall, Space Hulk, and XCOM 2.
Get out the vote.
Yeah. Pokemon Go to the polls.
Oh, gosh.
Thanks, Hillary, for one of the cringiest memes of the past decade.
Yeah, well, I'm laughing at it now, so...
I guess it worked. All right, here we go.
So, if that stretching took place, maybe that explains why we have a red shift. And we'll cover the red shift question in just a minute after the break.
Oh, well, just a minute after the break means it's break time.
Questions.
Oh, no, go away, Eric. Go, no.
Ew.
Also, do we want to talk real quick about the fact that Kent Hovind is suing his son?
Yeah, I haven't watched that video.
Okay.
But it's what, a 5-minute video, I think, from a week or two ago. And I don't know, I skimmed through it very, very little bit. So yeah, I guess I just forgot to watch the whole thing.
So Kent Hovind is claiming that Eric was never actually put in charge of the CSE assets, as far as like having any kind of like power of attorney or legally being put in charge of it, and that the transfer of assets from CSE, that's Kent Hovind's thing, to Creation Today, Eric's thing, was illegal. Now, for all I know, that's true. I actually don't know. There have been some people claiming that the board of Creation Today, Eric Hovind's ministry, were complaining about how he was handling the caretaking duties of creation science evangelism. There's allegations that a lot of creation science evangelism assets are simply just hanging around collecting dust, including a bank of almost 200 VCRs, which I'm sure Kent Hovind would love to get back. Because I guess he could sell them as antiques. I don't really know what you would do with a bank of 200 VCRs.
What can't you do?
Almost anything useful. I know what he did used to do was he would use those to copy his tapes. There was one lead VCR, right? He put it in and he could press one button and they were all wired together so that they would all copy off of the initial VCR. So he could make 200 copies at a time. Which, I mean, to be fair, what else is he going to do, right? I mean, how else would you do that if you were some guy trying to independently produce cassette tapes back in, like, the 90s? I mean, it actually sounds like a pretty interesting technical feat, if I'm being honest. I saw a picture of it, and I was like, all right, that's actually impressive. Like, that took a lot of work and time and wiring, and, you know. I'll give credit where credit's due. That was a thing. So Taco says, many of us aren't twits. In regards to Twitter. Why don't you try a straw poll or something? Honestly, it's because I put channel news on Twitter a fair bit, and I want more of my subscribers to go follow me on Twitter. That's literally the reason. Once I feel like a decent proportion of my subscribers are also Twitter followers, I'll probably move away from that. So, yeah, sorry, I don't really have a better reason than that. And I know it's not a great reason. It's sort of a weird sort of, I don't want to say coercive. It's not, like I said, I don't want to say it's coercive, but it's something. So I don't know. I'm sorry. I know it's not a really good reason, but or at least it's probably not a good enough reason that you find that acceptable. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start this and hope that it still follows through on the screen share. Oh, it did. Awesome. All right. So what I'm going to do is this drink that I have now, all the ice is melted into it, so it's now basically just water that's slightly caramel colored. So I'm going to down that real quick while the intermission video plays. Get myself a fresh drink, and then I'm going to come back for the start of part 2 of this seminar. So in the meantime, please go. Yeah, look, Taco. Twitter is cancer. I get it. I don't disagree with you.
Some people just have cancer,
right.
Taco.
Listen to Ben. He knows what he's talking about in this regard. Ben, sorry. He's my cancer expert. Whenever I need to know, hey, does this look like cancer to you? I send him a picture.
I need to go use my microscope to double check, unless it's Twitter, in which case it's like, oh, yeah, I can tell it is.
Yeah, Twitter's pretty cancerous. I get it. But kind of have to use it ever since I was bullied into getting it. All right, I'll be right back. Oh, Nani? Dare? Oh, Ojira desu ka? Hi, Gojira-san. Hi. All right, and we are back for more Kent with Bent. I'm glad that people enjoyed the little intermission we had there. Yeah. So let's see. This is basically they're calling it Creation Seminar 7B or whatever, but it really is just literally the same seminar. Like it just starts right back in. So I don't know. Oh, hey, it's Mothra J Disco. Oh, I put my stupid mouse where it didn't belong. Take that for what you will. All right, you ready, Bent?
I'm very ready.
All right, here we go.
Okay, let's go on to the question we often get. Well, what about the red shift? Doesn't that prove the universe is expanding?
See, he just jumps
Or
right
doesn't
in.
that prove the universe is billions of years old? Let me explain what they're talking about. If light shines through a prism, it breaks it up into the rainbow colors, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, okay? Well, if you take starlight and shine it through a prism by putting a prism on the back of your telescope, you look at the star, the light comes through, and it gets broken up into the same red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And you can kind of tell what's burning because different things burn different colors, like copper burns green.
Is he trying to fumblingly and buffoonishly describe emission spectra?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that Kent Hovind just said that professional astronomers, scientists have telescopes, and then they put a prism near the eyepiece, and then they look at the colors, and that's how they determine that something's redshifted, or green shifted, or blue shifted, or yellow shifted, or other things that aren't real, Kent! Sorry, try not to get mad. But,
Do we need to take a drink? Is that what's happening?
Finish my drink. You don't have to finish your drink.
All right, well, I'm not going
Chat.
to.
I'm going to finish my drink.
All right. Look, Bent, is this going to be the show that
Finish
makes
the
you
water.
lose your sobriety?
Oh, man, maybe. Maybe.
Well, if that starts to happen, let me know, and we'll do some
I
Eric
hope
with Erica.
orange shift at some point of this
Orange
because
shift.
because he's saying all the color indigo shift. Oh man, that'd be so awesome. Someone quick make a new account called Indigo Shift. Start commenting.
Actually sounds like a cool sort of like punk rock band. We're Indigo Shift. Come on, isn't that a decent band name for like a punk rock band?
Yes, it's really good.
All right, some of you go start a punk rock band and call it Indigo Shift, and I will totally plug your music, even if it sucks. All right, here's more Kent.
And each element produces a distinctive color. And so they can kind of tell what's in the star and how it's burning.
Yeah, he's sort of talking about emission spectra, but he's talking about it like a moron.
That's not... But he's getting it wrong.
Well, let's give him a chance. I'm still prepared to say that despite the whole talk about burning, which is not at all what's going on, that maybe he'll get there. Because I think I think he's going on about emission spectra, or emission lines, which is a thing. So
by what color of light it produces. So you can learn a lot about the star from the light. However,
that's true.
as they look at the
Oh,
is that the red hat picture of their produces.
sorry.
There's little
I hit. Oh, skip ahead 30 instead of play. So I'm going to take a quick drink though for him getting it right. That you can learn a lot about a star based on the color of the light. So here's a drink.
Black lines in starlight indicating something's burning, a particular element's burning.
I was so hopeful, Kent. Okay, I'm taking another drink. Those are absorption spectra. That indicates literally what is absorbing light that would otherwise get through. Now, I'm not an astronomer, so feel free to correct me on this if I get this wrong. But from my remembering, absorption spectra are not a good indication of the chemical composition of the star, because basically anything inside the star is hot enough that it would rather produce emission lines, which are spikes in the brightness in certain wavelengths. Absorption spectra tell you the kinds of things that the light has passed through to get to you. So, and again, none of this is burning. This isn't a fire, Kent. The sun isn't on fire. You can't throw some firewood at it to extend its little age. Oh. Black Lines on Starlight sounds like a band name too. Yeah, it does actually. But it sounds kind of like I don't know, some kind of emo band. All right, if you make a Black Lines on Starlight band, I'll promote that too. All right, so, and I have to remember that I can't hit the play on Discord. I have to hit the play in the actual window, because I've tried.
You can do whatever you want.
All right, let's
it
try
might not work.
Let's see what happens if we try to hit play on Discord. No, didn't work. Here we go.
But they're shifted toward the red. If you notice the center picture of there, its black lines are shifted over toward the red side, and that's called the red shift. So the question is, what would be causing this? Why would some of these stars have the black lines shifted over toward the red? Well, there are several theories about what's causing it. The most commonly accepted theory, and probably the only one that students are ever taught in school, is that the red shift is caused by what's called the Doppler effect. If you've ever been waiting at the train tracks when a train is coming, as the train's coming toward you, it is squeezing the sound waves, and so the pitch goes up. And when the train leaves you, it is stretching the sound waves, and so the pitch drops, and it goes as it goes by.
Hey, you know what? That was a pretty good description of the Doppler effect in regards to sound. So I'm going to drink for that. So, good job, Kent.
I need to get more drink.
What? You didn't do that during the intermission?
No, I didn't. I had still a drink, but I didn't expect to finish my drink.
All right.
Kent, this first minute 39 of this part B made me want to just drink myself to death.
I mean,
but I ran out. So
fair, right? That's fair.
Just keep playing. Just keep playing it.
Yeah. Well. Oh my goodness. Ah, no, phone! Don't do the thing that I want you to not do. I'm literally just trying to send a link to someone while Bent is just, you know, buggering off, but whatever. I guess I can't because I'm an idiot because I don't know how to use my phone. Anyway, so here we go, more Kents.
That's called the Doppler effect. Who cares? Well, this happens, okay? Whether the sound is moving past you or you moving past the sound, it doesn't matter. You still get this Doppler effect, the change in pitch. Well, the theory is that if a star was moving toward us, it would squeeze the light waves, giving it a blue shift. And if it is leaving us, it would give us a red shift because it would stretch the light out. That's the theory.
Yeah, no, that's also fairly accurate. I'll drink for a reasonably accurate Kent statement.
Okay. What really causes it, I don't think anybody knows for sure. This guy said there was an early sign that red shifts reliably indicate the distance to quasars. For quasars, however, the diagram shows a wide scatter in apparent brightness at every redshift. In fact, there is little correlation of brightness to redshift at all. Either quasars come in an extremely wide range of intrinsic luminosities, or, as most people believe, or their redshifts do not indicate distance.
Okay. Let's see. This little gem is from 1994, some 26 years ago. In the intervening 26 years, we have in fact confirmed which of those two options it is. So, I'm going to take a poll in the chat. Now, if you vote in the poll, if you vote in this poll, you also have to vote in the poll about what I'm going to stream after, which I'm about to link. So don't. If you cheat, I'll know, and I'll come after you. So if you think that the redshift, if you think that quasars come in an extremely wide range of intrinsic luminosities, go vote in the poll if you haven't already on Twitter. And if you have already, or you're coming back from doing so, press 1 if you think that quasars come in an extremely wide variety of intrinsic brightnesses. Same rules, but if you think that redshifts do not indicate distance in quasars, press 2 in the chat. So there you go. I'll wait a little bit for people to vote in both polls, because we have 45 viewers here. Also, actually, I don't know. YouTube has not been updating viewers and likes live for me, so I'm going to double check by refreshing. But we have 49 viewers here, only 31 likes, so also hit like, guys. Come on. It actually really does help. Or hit dislike. I mean, if you hate this, then hit dislike. That's fair. I'm not going to tell you which way to vote, but vote. Vote or die. That's from South Park. So, all right, we got 1-1. So, Monk Mayfair thinks that, as well as Miguel Francesco Ogar. Oh, drink for some Mothra. Which, by the way, in case you guys don't know, last week we got sort of inundated with Mothra sounds, so I slightly modified the way Mothra's working today. So, yeah, because it went from a cute little thing to like, my God, what is going on? All right.
It was nonstop.
So, of the people voting things that actually count, also the Evil Scotsman voted 96. Come on, man, flip those around. German Furman has it right.
Right.
Yeah.
I voted 3 because I vote third party. Just what I do.
Way to waste your vote. Uh-oh.
Oh, you got a dislike. Yeah.
Nice. Thanks, guy who disliked. I don't know if you guys know, but dislikes are just as good as likes as far as the YouTube algorithm goes. But right now, Spaceships and Chill has made a comeback after XCOM 2 took an early lead. So right now, it's looking like Spaceships and Chill. So, we'll see what happens there. Oh, and thank you, Dragon vs. Goblin, for following me. I think that's someone in the chat, but I don't really know. If it is, thank you. But let's see. Everyone is either voting an invalid number or 1.
No 2. I didn't see 2.
No 2s. There were some 69s. There was 96, a 77, a 42. 77 is better than 69 because you get 8 more.
That's math.
I mean, that is math, but I feel like the numerical value of the 69 is not the reason why people vote it. But I don't know what else it could be, I guess. So, anyway, yeah. Oh, and Eric Grothaler, says that he thought of an idea for our part 3 of the Creation Museum. Send it to me in some private message, and I will look into that. Probably not today, because today is pretty much over at this point for as far as me doing real work, because of alcohol. So anyway, yes, everyone who voted 1, you guys get I'm going to give you 10 internets for the day. You get 10 free internets. Because, yeah, it turns out that what a quasar is, and they didn't know this at the time for certain, but what a quasar is basically it's an active galactic core, which means material is currently falling towards the event horizon of the supermassive black hole at the center of the galaxy in question. But the thing is, how much matter is currently falling into the galactic center from our perspective can vary wildly. There's no particular reason it has to be the same in each quasar. And so, yeah. There you go. That's all there is to it. So yeah, it's number 1.
I don't think anybody knows for sure what's causing the redshift, but you certainly can't tell the distance to a star based on the redshift, and that's exactly what they tried to do.
Well, so here's the thing, right? In absentia of all the evidence, it's true. If you didn't know anything else about the universe and you saw the redshift on a star, that would tell you its recessional velocity, not its distance. But because we actually have lots of data about how far away different things are and what their redshift is, we actually notice a tight correlation between the two. Degree of redshift and distance based on standard candles has a high degree of correlation. Every time we've checked. Every single one.
In all directions.
Right. Which means that, yes, because of this high degree of correlation between them in every observed instance, where you can check one but not the other, you can infer the other. Right? It's like if I told you that femur length correlated strongly with human body height, and then, like, very strongly, almost a linear correlation, right? It's extremely strong, very little error. Mm-hmm. And then I give you the femur length of a person. You can determine with high accuracy their height, and vice versa. If I give you someone's height, you can with high accuracy determine their femur length. As it turns out, in humans,
no one knows, so their torso must have been stretched.
Yeah, it's possible.
How far it was stretched.
Well, that is one of the things. There are going to be some outliers in the data set, right? There are some things that are just going to have an absolute motion that's unusually high.
It's going to be a lot more accurate than random guessing.
Exactly.
Based on, like, close your eyes and just have to guess.
Right, and that's the situation we're in. We have a high degree of correlation between these two things, and so given one, we can say with reasonable confidence what the other is likely to be. So, yes, degree of redshift.
And for the one time, Kent said the redshift of specific star versus of a galaxy, because he doesn't get the difference.
No, he doesn't. Do we drink for that?
Yeah, I'll drink for that again. I've drank so much just for that, but I'll keep doing it.
Hey, whatever.
Not? I mean, he keeps saying.
Yeah.
They look at stars and say, oh, that one's redshifted more. That must be, 10.5 billion light years away instead of 10.2 or something. They make up an awful lot of imagination stuff over just a real little bit of science.
Actually, can they do that? Can they look at a galaxy and look at the redshift of stars on one side and stars on the other side and determine which way the galaxy is rotating? I think they can.
I don't know. Honestly, that's a good question.
I think they can. I'm not positive, but I think they can do that.
Corporal, Corporal Nod asked, can I get a Dapper Dino blanket? You absolutely can. Yeah. The merch store is linked in the description. Click on the merch store, find the blanket, and go ahead and get one.
You think I did it any other way?
Yeah.
I didn't get no free Kent with Bent blanket. I had to go buy my own.
Yeah, you absolutely can get a Dapper Dino blanket. You can get Dapper Dino mugs.
Get the mug, get the t-shirt, get the blanket.
Stickers. Tote bags.
Don't get this.
Wall tapestries. Wall tapestries.
I don't have enough walls for that.
No, I just remembered I'm on my own channel. I can't make the joke I was about to make, so never mind. Just leave it there.
We'll leave it there.
Let's just say if I were on Chesh's current show, I would have made a very different joke than any of the ones that I've made previously.
iPhone cases.
Yeah, I think there's Android cases too, aren't there?
Baby premium onesies. Oh,
yeah.
There is, yeah.
Do you have a baby? Get a onesie. There's Dapper Dino onesies.
Oh.
Yeah, there's almost any. Basically, if Teespring makes it and it's not a legging, I have it because I couldn't figure out a good way to make Dapper Dino leggings, so I just didn't.
That premium pullover hoodie looks awesome, and if I didn't live somewhere where it's so warm, I would get one.
I'll tell you what. Eric Virataller 92 says there needs. Drink for Godzilla. Eric Virataller 92 says that there needs to be a Kent Hovind video game. Or sorry, not a Dapper Dino video game where Kent Hovind is the final boss. Tell you what. Anyone who's willing to do programming and stuff, I'm willing to work on stuff like asset creation in terms of modeling, texturing, node editing, and stuff like that.
And I'll make the music.
And there you go, some music. So contact us, and we can make a Dapper Dino video game and put it up on Steam for like $5 or something. We probably can't actually call him Kent Hovind. We'll probably have to call him, like, I don't know.
Bent Hovind.
Maybe Gend Hovind. Gend Hovind. We'll have to change his features a little bit. We could call him Bent Hovind, but you're my ally. You're like a...
That's what you think. I'm a scoffer. Oh, wait.
Alright. Here we go. Let's do a little bit more Kent.
in Sky and Telescope magazine. Thus, for us, the only conclusion that can be drawn is that at least some quasars are relatively nearby, and a large fraction of their redshift is due to something other than expansion of the universe.
Yeah, the reason they said for us is because these people who wrote this book, I happen to know this, were Fred Hoyle disciples. And Fred Hoyle was against the Big Bang because basically, according to him, the Big Bang was too much like Genesis, and he hated Genesis. That's literally the reason. Fred Hoyle and his associates thought that this was too creationist.
I don't know.
Basically,
I know
he's
about
saying-
like the story in the Bible, and I know about like when I think of the cosmic inflation, I think, well, wouldn't that be like God stretching out the heavens? Wouldn't that fit? Like, wouldn't the Big Bang be God creating the heavens and the earth? Like, doesn't that fit your theory, Kent? I don't understand why he's so.
That's exactly why Fred Hoyle didn't like it, because that's what he thought too.
Yeah.
He thought that fit Genesis too close.
Couldn't it fit? I mean, I'm not saying it must fit, but couldn't it? But Kent is like, no, forget that.
No, you know, I have my own personal ridiculous interpretation.
Forget any evidence that the universe was created. No, screw that.
Exactly. Oh, hey, we have more votes on the poll now, and Spaceships and Chill is now significantly ahead, and Space Hulk and XCOM 2 are tied. Interesting turn of events. All right, here we go.
We're not sure exactly what's causing the redshift. It might be that they're nearby. There's a good book you can get. I highly recommend this one called The Evolution Cruncher. It's a 900-page book, and it's like $5. He's got a whole section in here on page 52 about the evolution, about the redshift and the Doppler effect and what causes it. Got some really good stuff in these you can give out to every high school kid you know. But
so the thing is, we have experimental confirmation that the redshift in light is due to recession of the source. We have this from particle accelerators, where we can get emission sources for light that are traveling at significant fractions of the speed of light away from or towards detectors. And we see red and blue shifts that are exactly corresponding to what we would predict based on a Doppler effect, based again on relativity. So, yeah. And T-Lane says it needs to be a JRPG. Hey, look, like I said, if you guys can program video games, talk to me. I am.
What's J in JRPG?
Japanese.
Because then you get through the dialogue faster. For speed running.
So the difference between JRPGs and Western RPGs usually has to do with storytelling style and also to some extent the way that things like gameplay and combat work. So JRPGs tend to do things like they have an open overworld that you walk through and you get random encounters that you go into a turn-based fight where there isn't tactical movement, there's simply move selection and item use and stuff like that. And there tends to be a very heavy focus on a plot that is very detailed, with very detailed characterization and world building and stuff, but not a huge emphasis on player choice in the plot or the ability to self-define the player character on the part of the player. Whereas in Western role-playing games, they're much less likely to use turn-based combat, and when they do, they're much more likely to have position as a big thing. And also the plot is usually a bit more open-ended, and the player can make very significant choices about who the player character is, including things like race and character class and stuff like that. So Skyrim is a very Western RPG, whereas the Final Fantasy series are very JRPG.
Exactly what I'm thinking of, what you're describing.
So there you go.
So, yeah.
All right, that was completely off topic, but that's okay. Here's more Kent.
there's a good section in there about the redshift, what's causing it. This article says quasars with an enormous redshift was found embedded in a nearby spiral galaxy with a far lower redshift. Now, how can one star be inside of another star and they're giving you two different redshifts if this indicates distance?
Oh my gosh.
I would want a citation. Citation needed.
Well, first of all, the first part of what he said is interesting. I would like to read about that. But then he said, how could one star be inside of another star and be redshifting differently? Like, that's not at all what you just read, Kent.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a star and it's not a galaxy. A galaxy has many stars in it, but a galaxy isn't one star, Kent.
Kent
They're
has
different things.
no ability to conceptualize the difference
They're
between stars and
vastly
galaxies.
different things. That's like when I was. So I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I remember
Way
being
to
like 4 or
dox
5.
yourself.
I'm not there now, and it doesn't matter. My mom was teaching me that Milwaukee is a city in Wisconsin, and I was like, well, if Milwaukee's in Wisconsin, then Wisconsin's in Milwaukee, because I'm a freaking 5-year-old idiot. And she's like, no, that's not how it works. And I'm like, yes, it does. And I didn't get it. And I was throwing a tantrum. That's what Kent's doing with stars and galaxies. Only he's not a 5-year-old idiot. He's wearing a suit and a tie, trying to give a presentation.
He's like a 50-year-old idiot here.
And by the way, a city and a state, much closer in size than a star to an entire galaxy, Kent.
Oh yeah, and Jerry Hotep says, citation, you ask for the impossible. That is extremely true. What Kent seems to be talking about is the fact that if you are very precise, in certain galaxies, you should be able to get different redshift amounts for stars on different sides of the galaxy because of the rotation of the galaxy. But he seems to think that galaxies are stars, or to just not have a clear indication. And by the way, I'm going to link once again Twitter poll just to get more votes, and also go follow me on Twitter because you can learn channel news and you can get updates on the speculative evolution program project outside of the videos. Everything I talk about in the speculative evolution videos you can see in my tweets. Also, Adam Morgan says, have a drink on me, cheers. And Adam Morgan, even though you're not Mothra J Disco, because you request it, I will have a drink on you. Cheers, buddy. Here you go. Just had a drink. Bent, are you not going to drink for Adam?
The empty cup by mistake.
Oh, okay, there we go. That's an acceptable excuse. All right, get some more Kent in. We got probably 20 more minutes worth of Kent, and then we're gonna, well, Kent with Ben stuff. And then we're gonna do some wrap up stuff, and then we're gonna go set up for the Top Hats off stream.
If they're the same, if a quasar is inside a galaxy, they should both give you the same redshift, both be the same distance away.
A quasar is in the center of a galaxy, Kent. That's not what was being talked about either.
But they admitted they found this quasar inside of a galaxy
Yeah?
that had different redshifts, but yet they're obviously the same distance away.
Did they?
So they said, according to the standard Big Bang view of the universe, the objects we call quasars are generally supposed to be at the very edge of the visible universe. They're supposed to be superluminous black holes with a million...
Well,
No.
kind of. I mean, they tend to be very far away, just because the active phase of galaxies tends to be early on in their evolution.
Were you with me at the observatory when we looked at a quasar?
No, your mom was.
That was, they said it was about 5 billion light years away. Not 13 point...
Yeah, I mean, that's
whatever
still fairly far away,
It's
but...
far, but it's not at the edge of the universe
Right.
from us. Not at the very edge, to be specific, because that's the quote that I'm reading right now. Like, what you're saying, yeah, it makes sense. Yes, they're older. But no, they're not supposed to be at the very edge of the visible universe. Like we could see one part of the galaxy, but not the rest. It's beyond the horizon.
Yeah.
That's not... No, Kent. No. No. That this episode should be retitled "No, Kent, No."
No, I like Eternal Sunshine of the Empty Mind, though. Oh, and for $2 US from Atheist Jr., Rob Schneider is Kent Hovind, rated PG-13. I might watch that, actually. I don't normally watch Rob Schneider movies, but that actually might get my money. Huh. Okay, here we go. More Kent.
And are 100 million times more mass than our sun, surrounded by a disk of material. Some of the material falls into the black hole, causing the emission of huge amounts of energy. There's a big article when they discovered this discovery poses cosmic puzzle. Can a distant quasar live within a nearby galaxy? This really created a problem. How on earth can we have these two objects that are different distances at the same location? Well, it's not a problem if you realize that you can't trust the redshift to measure the distance. But they're so anxious to say the universe is billions of light years across, and it probably is, and then use that as evidence to say, therefore, it's billions of years old.
Because it has to be if it is that far across, at least. It could be older, but it has to be at least that old.
And that's
How
why
does
this all
Kent
becomes a
get
problem.
so much wrong in one sentence?
I mean, I still wish I could see that sentence. Well, you know, Aaron Ross says that he has managed to tell more lies in a single sentence than there are words in that sentence. I wish that he still had that sentence, because that would be amazing. And I don't... It does not seem far-fetched in the least. And we got a... Tim Gargak sends a facepalm emoji. Yeah, I mean, facepalm emojis are basically the theme of the show.
Problem for it. If they would just accept the Bible, it wouldn't be a problem at all. This article said, quasar with enormous redshift found embedded in nearby spiral galaxy with far lower redshift. Unsolvable riddle for Big Bang astronomy. I agree. You believe the Big Bang theory? That is an unsolvable problem. Science News ran an article, far lower redshift.
What is the citation there? This changes the whole
Dr.
view. Is that the name of a book? What is that? Let me know if you find something, because that's... Aw, German Fermi, you got visitors? Visitors in this time of social distancing? Oh, and Illuminati Don, I just noticed that you're in the chat. Check your Discord messages, because Illuminati Don, unless I'm misremembering vastly who sent me this message, said that a dinosaur denier would like to have a debate with me. And he was just on Modern Day Debate yesterday, maybe the day before or something. It was recent. And yeah, you know what? If James wants to have the "Did our dinosaurs a thing" debate, I will 100% have that debate. So yeah. Let me know what the deal is there, and I am totally open to having James host a debate about whether or not dinosaurs are a thing. Because, my goodness, would that be awesome. Our dinosaur deniers are... I mean, he's a flat earther too, so, I mean, big surprise. But any luck on that source there?
No.
No? Alright, well, I'm just going to go ahead, unless RJ can tell me differently, and just assume that this is a source that is basically just not a real thing.
I spent the last minute and a half trying to fix my mouse.
What?
I couldn't even on the page. I turned scroll lock on, I guess, so it wouldn't scroll.
Scroll lock is the key that should just be removed from your keyboard.
I didn't even know scroll lock actually did anything. And it does.
It does do things, but it's stupid. Just get rid of it. All right, here we go.
Unsolvable riddle for Big Bang astronomy. I agree. You believe the Big Bang theory? That is an unsolvable problem. Science News ran an article, said another set of observations indicates that the universe appears to be 8.4 to 10.6 billion years old. The new work relied on Hubble Space Telescope to obtain distance to faraway galaxies. The team, led by Tanver at the University of Cambridge in England, used a two-step method to estimate the Hubble constant. Now stop and think about that.
He even highlighted standard candle in here, something he never actually bothers to talk about. So I don't even know. And Miguel, you need to rest your mind for a bit. And here's the great thing, right? In not too long, my off-topic channel, which you can find linked on my channel page, is going to be streaming just some video game stuff. I'm just going to go and play video games. Unless anything changes, it's going to be Spaceships and Chill, which is me just having fun with spaceships on the internet. Or the computer, I don't know. So, that's coming. Here we go.
How many of you have had algebra before? You had algebra?
I did.
You have variables in your equation, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if a variable times a constant, if one constant changes, that's going to change your whole answer.
Mm-hmm.
So most of this distance stuff they're doing...
Hey, I'm going to take a drink for Kent getting something right. Not sure how it ties in, but okay.
...with stars is based on...
I found the article.
Oh, it's on creation.com?
Researchgate.net. It's a 2-page article, including references.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna link it to your chat.
All right, chat, go take a look at that. And I'll tell you what, if you think it's credible, if you think this is a great source, and RJ, I think RJ just gave the same or a different link to the same paper. So here's what I want to do. If you guys find this credible after reading it, let me know, especially RJ. Because if you think it's something we should suggest, RJ, I'll have you on. We can talk about it. Maybe we can do it pre-recorded, or maybe we can do it live. But if you think it's worth it, guys, we'll talk about this. I'm going to go ahead and guess that it's not, but I'm willing to be wrong about that. So
I'm interested in figuring out what smarter people said about this paper and why he's wrong or whatever.
Okay. Well, RJ, you know what? Let me know. Maybe we will go into it. And hello, Amy Newman. Welcome to the stream.
That would be cool. And if you did like a I don't know if it's worth talking about with Landon. Maybe you could talk about it with him.
Yeah. Maybe that could be one of the things we discuss on the 6th, because my next discussion with Landon is on the 6th. And maybe RJ could even jump in. We could get into some of the ridiculous cosmology.
It's from 2005, so I'm sure if there was any interest by real scientists, he might know about it.
Right. And I just want to reiterate, if you haven't voted, go vote. Links in the chat. Here we go.
Hubble constant. But they don't even know what that is. The Hubble constant is estimated. That's going to radically affect your outcome of your equation.
If you're wrong, but we have multiple precise and accurate and mutually confirmed values that are measured.
Yeah, but they're like estimates, but like an estimate isn't like a random guess.
Right.
It's still pretty accurate.
Yeah, especially in this case where we have multiple estimates coming from multiple different sources of data that all tend to agree. So, yeah. Oh, are we drinking for that?
I'm drinking because I'm thirsty, but sure.
If you want to drink because you're thirsty, just trigger a Godzilla.
Oh, okay.
Well, don't do it now. Or do, I don't care. You
I'm
do what you
very thirsty.
Okay.
So is the universe 8.4 billion years old, or is it 10.6, or is it, when I debated Hugh Ross at Reasons to Believe, he said it's 17.42 billion years old. 17.42. How do you know that? Some textbooks say 18, some say 20, some say 12. The numbers range all over the scale. The fact is, they don't know.
The numbers range over the scale, Kent, but they get closer and closer to the current estimate of 13.8 as time goes. Did you just send me a numerical sequence?
I counted to 6, one at a time.
Well, 6 didn't come in because you sent them too fast.
Well, it's good for people who are playing the drinking.
Like me? All right,
Yes.
Here we go.
They're making up numbers, purely making them up. The article goes on to say you have to be very careful about drawing conclusions because of the Hubble constant. Measurements have huge systematic errors. I like this article, came out in Discover magazine a couple years ago. Astronomers believed the Veil, one of the best studied supernova remnants, was 2,500 light years away and 18,000 years old. They were quite wrong. In fact, the Veil is only 1,500 light years away and 5,000 years old. So here just 4 years ago, they're discovering they got radically wrong numbers. How do you know any of the numbers they're telling us are right?
Because the estimate of the age of a nebula is not the same thing as an estimate of the distance of a galaxy based on standard candles, Kent. It's like saying, oh hey, guess what? I found out that my bathroom scale was wrong, therefore the mass of the Earth no one can know. No!
Alright, so I'm going to maybe embarrass you a little bit. When we were at the observatory, there was a question asked early on.
Oh, you're going to pull this one out, huh?
I'm making a point. The closest planet to the sun, and you said Venus.
Yep, because I'm
And they're like, nope. And then someone else was like, Mercury. Like, oh yeah. And then you're like, oh yeah, I forgot Mercury. Just forgot. And then you proceeded to get every other question right the rest of the night. All the crazy complicated questions.
Drink for Godzilla.
You just got all of them right. All of them. Right? But am I supposed to think, well, you got the first one wrong. How can I trust that you got any of the other ones right? No. Sometimes you get things wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's simple things. Sometimes you count 6 digits when there's 8.
But you know how to take a derivative of a curve.
And then, right after you took a derivative of a curve, I don't even know what that means anymore. Not only do I not know how to do it anymore, I don't even know what it means anymore. So they made a correction on something. That doesn't mean you can't trust any other data. Kent. No, Kent. No.
German Furman, he quotes me, "Oh yeah, I forgot Mercury."
It was pretty funny.
It was.
It was
But
pretty
then
funny.
by the end of the
and
night,
then he got literally everything else right.
yeah, by the end of the night, I was referred to as the guy who gets all the questions.
Well, halfway through, they're like, "And we have another question you can't answer." They did that.
I remember. I was there.
It was pretty funny. It was pretty good stuff.
That was a fun night. All right, here we go. Let's get a little bit more Kent Hovind in.
I think we should say, look, until somebody's proven the Bible wrong, I'm going to believe it. Instead of saying, well, there's a scientist
That's a
who's saying
risky
it's
thing
wrong,
to say,
so
Kent.
Yeah, it's like, okay, here's something, right? Look, I'm not here to tell you whether or not you should accept the Bible or the Quran or any other religious holy text or religion in general, whether it has a holy text or not. I don't care. For the purpose of this channel, do whatever makes you happy on that front, or whatever you find plausible on that front, or whatever. But the thing is, you can believe that the Bible is your guide to drink for Godzilla, spiritual matters, right? That's fine. But if your interpretation of that contradicts the physical evidence, then either the Bible is wrong or your interpretation is wrong. Like, that's it. Those are the only options. So, Kent, either the Bible is wrong or your interpretation of it is wrong. You need to figure out which. If it's the Bible, then maybe stop being a Christian, because apparently it can't be true. But if you don't think that that's the case, then maybe change your interpretation, because I know I have viewers who do not think that the Bible is wrong. They simply think that Kent Hovind's interpretation is wrong, and I'm perfectly happy with that conclusion. So, well...
That's a loud yell of the Bible is not a science book. And that's one of the issues with Kent, of the many issues. He says it's how does he say, scientifically accurate?
Yeah.
Literally true and scientifically accurate. It's not a science book, Kent.
It is not.
Why don't you say it's, pick other subjects too, and say it's accurate in those subjects?
It's not even accurate at math.
Pick math or, I don't know, history, literature, pick all of it.
All right, here we go.
We must believe the scientists. Don't go along with that. Even the nearest Cephids, a Cephid variable, are so remote, it's difficult to determine their absolute distance with any great accuracy. All large distances in astronomical literature are subject to an error of perhaps 10% from this cause alone.
Okay, so let's say that you see something and you're like, oh, that's 12 billion light years away. What that really means is it's what, between 11 and 13 billion light years? Well, you know what that doesn't allow for? A 6,000-year-old universe. Like, 10% isn't 100%, Kent, which is what you need. You need a 100% error rate, like error bar.
Or at least 99 point, a bunch of nines.
Right, like, it's... 10% doesn't help you, Kent. Granted, that sounds pretty big, although it's from 1969. I'll blow this up a little bit.
To say if they think it could be 10%, who's to say it's not more than that? I expected to hear him say that, and he didn't say that. He still might, though.
But the greatest thing is that, like, yeah, in 1969, that was probably pretty accurate. My guess is that in 2005, when you gave this speech, because I'm not going to hold you to 2020 standards for a 15-year-old speech, that's not fair. But my guess is that in 2005, it was a lot less than that, Kent. Yeah, so... And yeah, Mug Mayfair points out, oh, that's 120 light years away, so it's between 108 and 132 light years away. Big difference. Yeah, exactly. It's... I just, you know, no, I'm gonna drink, because, my goodness, Kent. Here we go. All right, that was a quick drink there. Get some more Kent.
There are lots of different things that can cause errors in these measurements. We talked about the triangulation, measuring with trigonometry. You got incredible errors built into that.
No, you
the
don't.
numbers are just so big. The distances are so large you can't do it. They say we know that faintness, that's how bright the star is, arises from two
Does Kent
causes,
not know
distance
how,
and
like,
absorbing matter in
basic
space.
mathematics work?
First, drink
Like
for
division
Godzilla.
and multiplication?
Actually, I think he does, because I've seen him do like basic arithmetic, and he's usually decent at it. I
Okay,
think.
but if you say what's 5 times 5,
Drink
it's
again.
25. Well, now do 5 million times 5 million. Oh, well, those numbers are too big. You just can't do it. Well, yeah, you can, Kent. You can.
Yeah.
The numbers being big doesn't mean you can't do the math.
Right.
Have you ever heard of scientific notation, Kent?
Oh, but Monk Mayfair points out that big numbers are wrong. Quote, inmate 06452017. Normally I wouldn't be okay with referring to Kent by his inmate number, but since he's been rude enough to refer to Aaron Ra by a made-up name
That was my favorite part of the
marathon.
debates.
Oh, was
45, 2017.
yeah. So look, if you haven't seen him yet, there was a video exchange debate between Aaron Ra and Kent Hovind. Personally, I don't really think Kent's parts are worth listening to, since the only things that are relevant are things that Aaron actually put in his videos anyway. So feel free to skip over the Kent parts, because they're long and rambling and mostly irrelevant. But go check them out if you haven't. I think there's a playlist you can find, and start with their joint appearance on Non Sequitur Show. Feel free to mute whenever Kyle starts talking. You know what I should do? I should do a supercut of that debate where it just cuts out everything that Kyle says. Because I'm not a big fan of Kyle.
Why not?
Well, it's probably the fraudulent conversion, dishonest business practices, breach of fiduciary duty, all that.
All that bad things that he did.
Yeah, but watch that, because it really is just primarily Kent Hovind and Aaron Ra, and every once in a while, one of the hosts of the Non Sequitur Show will break in to say, okay, well, let's let Kent get a word in about his response or whatever. But then after that, there was a video exchange that lasted a fair while between the two of them. It's excellent. Go watch it. And Monk Mayfair, you know what? Kyle did have some good moments, but he is still a douche. I'll agree with you. Yeah. When I'm not letting my opinions of Kyle as a human being influence me, I do recognize that he was not bad at being a co-host. He and Steve made a good team.
He was great at it.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
I think everyone seemed to think that, but then bad things happened.
Yeah, he is not without talent. Say that. Yeah, I do mean Mr. 95%. But here we go. Let's get some more Kent in, because I don't want to keep talking about the Non Sequitur Show fallout.
This was happening. They look at a star and say, wow, we know that one is, 4 billion light years away. And look at that one over there. That one's only half as bright. So it must be, 8 billion light years away. They use the inverse square law. And that's all logical if there's nothing in between absorbing the light or scattering the light.
But Kent, if there's something in between scattering the light, or absorbing the light, it will show up in absorption spectra, and we can account for that. I'm gonna drink because that was stupid.
I didn't want to say anything because we keep pausing.
Oh, he went into it. He showed us absorption spectra in this video. Oh, Kent, just stop me. Oh, that's a great pause moment, by the way. I love that face. Oh, man. Assuming that Spaceships and Chill wins on my poll, which, by the way, go vote on the poll if you haven't. I'll put the link in the chat, because I'm spamming chat, apparently. If that wins, get ready to see some drunken flying, which means I'm probably going to switch to a cheap ship, because I'm probably going to do Elite Dangerous. So, there you go. Oh, there's make the face again. There you go. All right, so let's get a little bit more Kent. Oh, actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll get one more bit of Kent in, then we'll do some wrap up.
Because a star is dimmer doesn't necessarily mean it's farther. It might be something's in between, a dust cloud. Outer space is full of all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, well, like we said, that is something that we can account for with absorption spectra. All right, so it is less than 10 minutes away from when I would like to end the stream here. Oh, drink for Godzilla. So, oh, come on. Godzilla again. You know what? I'll bet it's Brittany.
It's not me.
It's probably Brittany. Let's find out.
Why don't she just call again?
Yep, it was. All right. So here's the plan. After you're done with this, go check out my my channel page and find Top Hats Off. Go to that. Oh, we got a $2.99 reduced super chat from Ian Chen that says, "Hi Daps, Bent, TD Lane, and Eric." Thank you very much, Ian. Ian is one of my most generous supporters, and I appreciate him to a very high degree. So anyway, let's do some channel news. Let's see. Channel news. So, this Thursday, I'm starting a new little... drink. A new little mini-series based on someone who showed up in my comments and decided to be a complete jerk. So I started planning on doing one quick little video about some of his videos, and he said, "I better not see any of my content on your channel." And then I decided I was going to do more than one video, because that's not how YouTube works, buddy.
That's great.
Exactly.
Are they trying to use reverse psychology?
Exactly.
It's working.
So that's coming Thursday. I have no clue what's coming Saturday. I don't currently have anything lined up as far as the stream goes, so it's probably just going to be Creationism and the Big Bang the movie, which, by the way, is a 2.5-hour video. So
Nice.
Bring snacks is what I'm saying. And then the Tuesday after that will probably be Kent with Bent, unless it's like Eric with Erica or something. I don't know. If Bent wants a break or something, we'll take a break. Oh, probably. Well, you know, give it a few days, see how you feel. But you're probably good.
Good.
Let's see. If you didn't notice on Top Hats Off, I did a quick, like down and dirty. Here's how you can take one single texture, image texture, and turn it into an entire terraformed Mars. But I'm probably in the next week going to make a much more involved video where I take several images of Mars, including the color images and stuff, like the real color image from NASA, and the same texture for the height map, but I'm probably going to get it in a better file format. And I'll do a lot of really fancy stuff to make it look really, really good. And that'll probably be a bit longer. So look forward to that if you like... Oh, drink for Godzilla. If you like my art stuff. Other than that, I don't think there's really much else to say about the channel. I plan on leaving Discord open for the most part. Instead of this call, where I'm probably going to go to my personal Discord server. So if you have a link to that, which is very few of you, but it's at least some of you, feel free. I'm going to let Cheshire Vic know that we're going to stream there, or from there, with audio. So if you want to come in and you know, hang out while I do Spaceships and Chill, and you have a link to it, which is very few people, but if you do, that's where you go. Other than that, I think I'm basically done. Bent, you got anything you want to plug?
Copper Magma, we're back. It's kind of, sort of. We had our first rehearsal in a couple months, and only half the band could make it because the other half is still playing it safe. And that's fine. But we got 2 new songs in the works. One of them is called Bose. It's
Bose.
the intro music for Dapper Dino's channel.
It's also the outro
and we're
music.
gonna try to get that recorded, a full, actual, real version of it recorded, if possible. Best case scenario is like in a month and a half. Realistically, it's gonna take a while.
Okay.
Because of this stinking quarantine and all that. But
yeah,
there will be a nice professional version of it, hopefully soon enough, and it will still have the soundbite.
Awesome.
That you hear at the beginning.
Well, that's important to me because if it
Yeah.
didn't, I wouldn't update it.
I will make sure of that because these guys in this band like to put random sound bites that they like in songs anyway, and this is for sure a great one. So
Yeah.
no,
Well,
but there's other new songs too that we're working on, so we're going to try to record as much as possible the rest of this year.
all right. And so chances are, if I get an updated version of the song, I will update everything about my intro. So the bit with me in the tank, that'll get updated. The bit where it says, you know, the Dapper Dinosaur, where it does the dolly zoom on my set, that'll be updated. So yeah, if I get an updated song, everything will be updated. I do want to point out that thank you very much to Just a Walking Fish, as well as Iffy, who goes by his real name on YouTube, so I'm not going to say it. They both pledged to me on Patreon recently. It was very much appreciated. If you want to pledge on Patreon, the link is in the description. The minimum entry tier is $1 a month, and then it goes up from there. Oh, and we have a super chat from Mothra J Disco for $1.99 US. Take a drink. And he says, just saying hi. We're all, or actually, is it she? Because Mothra's a she? I don't really know. Mothra J Disco, let me know. Let me know the appropriate pronouns. And so Mothra J Disco, of whatever pronoun, says, just saying hi. We're all better than Kent. Well, it's a low bar, but yes. Yes, we are. And then Brian Stevens asked real quick, do you make all your own intros? What in? So I don't make the music for it. Kent Hovind is in charge of that. I believe you used just actual, like, instruments.
For your intro, I just straight up recorded it musically. I did I have an electronic drum kit, and I'm horrible at drums, but I bang them, and it's just hooked up to the computer, the other computer in the music room. And then I mic the amp for bass and for guitar.
Oh, and Mothra
and I did it as a rough draft. I did not know he was going to use it for his channel. I'm fine with that, and now I'm really liking how it sounds.
Yeah.
It's a little embarrassed at first. It was just like
people like it.
one take for everything, but it's a cool song.
Yeah.
So.
And Mothra J Disco's a dude, so we can be assured that he works. As far as the video elements go, that's all done in Blender 3D, which is my primary production program. It is a free open source 3D program primarily, but it also includes very limited audio editing. I don't really use it for audio editing, but it also includes video editing that's fairly full-featured, as well as 2D animation resources. It has the ability to add in Python scripts to do whatever you need the Python script to do. Very full-featured as a general production for using 3D CGI stuff, as well as reasonably well-featured for using 2D stuff. There you go. Let's see. I think that's basically it. Check out coppermagma.com for any of the Copper Magma music that has already been recorded and released. It's free. Just go look at it. I'm going to say goodbye, and I am going to... yeah, go set up for, I'm going to check the poll right now. So if in the next, like, 6 seconds the poll changes, then maybe there'll be a change of plans. But, so it's looking like, yeah, Spaceships and Chill is winning with 35.5%. Next up is Space Hulk and XCOM 2 tied for second place with 29% each. And then trailing in fourth is Robo Recall. So it is going to be Spaceships and Chill, which is probably gonna, yeah, it's. I'm just gonna say it's gonna be, what do you call it? Elite Dangerous. It'll probably take me a little bit of time to make sure I'm really set up for it, because it, you know, goes through my VR headset and whatnot. So yeah, and also Brian Stevens says, I've heard great things about Blender. I need to get it. Do that. Oh, drink for Godzilla. Again, if people want me to, I might do some Blender, like, you know, beginners training sessions live on Top Hats Off. So if that's something that people are really interested in, let me know. DM me on Twitter or something like that. Yeah, DM me on Twitter, mostly because my Discord DMs are full of submissions, so it's hard for me to figure out who's giving me submissions and who's actually wanting to talk about something more immediate. Drink for Godzilla. And that's it. I'll talk to y'all later. Hopefully you come over to Top Hats Off and hit like, share, and all that.